Okay, this is Sarah Swanger. I am here with Jeff Deutsch. And what are we going to talk about today, Jeff?
Well, all sorts of light and entertaining things. Maybe share some memories from our VHS days and other funny, entertaining things.
Okay. Who was your favorite teacher back at VHS?
It's tough to say. I had quite a few favorites that I loved. But at the top of my head, one I can say with certainty is Jim Garbison. He was my special ed resource person that I saw once every other day. But that would be just for if I was having trouble with certain academic work, where if I needed help, he would give me help in trying to understand the subject matter on those things I was having trouble with. Another favorite is Brian Christensen, a.k.a. Brian Dean. For my junior and senior year, I was part of KWDM family, taking a broadcast course my first semester of junior year, and actually having shows for my for all of junior and senior year. And Brian Dean Christensen's been a wonderful resource, and he taught me quite a bit about radio. And though I didn't end up going to it as a career, it still was a fun experience to have a show on KVDM my junior and senior years, and to learn so much about radio and broadcasting, and my interests in in basic audio production was actually a plus in participation in those 2 years being part of the KWDM family. So those are, and let's see if I have other favorites that from those days. I mean, everybody was pretty much nice, though some courses were a lot more difficult to deal with. I never had teachers that was mean. Just some subjects were a lot tougher. But I loved that. I loved Mrs. Corey Mitchell for when I had my freshman English course. Then I had Mr. Jim Lamson for dramatic literature. I think it was my end of my junior year or the end of my senior year, and there were a lot of great teachers at the VHS.
Yeah. Yes, there were. Let's see. I remember you being quite the ladies' man back then. Used to like to walk down the hall and hold the girls' hands.
Well, funny thing is, I don't remember actually holding hands all the time, and I learned that it wasn't the best thing to really do.
But you sure knew how to make the girls feel special, that's for sure.
Yeah. Basically, unless, it was with consent. Of course, I've always loved giving hugs to everybody, but obviously, I want to make sure, a touch I give someone is a type that someone's comfortable with, you see.
Absolutely.
With consent.
What's that?
With consent.
Of course.
Make everybody happy.
It's hard to make everybody happy. Got to make yourself happy.
Has to be a two-way street where everyone's happy.
Very true. Very true. Okay, let's see. What else? What's one of your favorite memories about high school?
Well, let's see. I'll tell you, it's when you have 2,000 students in one building, it's really, really hard to get to know everybody. There are certain people I can remember having in certain classes, but I obviously can't remember everyone that was in my classes. I have certain recollections of certain people. However, during the 3 years that both you and I were at VHS together, I just don't remember what specific classes you were also in with me, per se.
I don't know if we ever had any classes together.
Well,
not that I remember. Maybe we did. But I just remember you from seeing you around the halls.
Yeah. In a lot of cases, that end up being that way with a lot of people. But, of course, I became, I guess, more social as time wore on. But this was before the days of social media. So if we had social media back then...
Thank goodness we didn't.
But one benefit of social media is I can talk to multiple people at once. When I want to talk to a lot of people at once to say I would like some help with something, or I would like to have someone take me to this fun event or that fun event. because otherwise, back then, the only way that I could have done that was by calling a particular person. So that leads me to the, I guess I could say, there were two fun memories I have of fun events I did get lucky enough to attend, one of which was my junior year in 1990. During the spring of 93, we had a Battle of the Bands event one Friday night at VHS, and I and Christy Hyatt Axe did, and I think Jenny Stambro offered to take me to that. It was really, really cool. Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
So I had a pretty good time at that event. And then the only other really super fun thing I remember that was extracurricular, that was really fun, that I went to during our VHS years was both junior and senior year, when it was the night of the prom. While I really couldn't go to the prom itself, one because of the not just the trying to find someone who'd go with me, but also the cost of trying to get a tux for the night. I was fortunate enough to go to the after prom events after the prom, and on junior year, Sandy Johnson England. Actually, she goes by many different names.
I think Sandy Countryman now.
Yeah, it's Countryman. So Sandy Countryman, she's known now, took me both ways to the after prom in 1993.
Fun.
And both years this after prom was that I was small, but then I think it was either my father I think or another friend took me to.
Just picking up wind.
That's okay. The windscreen mutes makes it softer.
Okay.
So anyway, back to the after prom in 1993. Either my father or another friend took me to the after prom in 93, and I had a good time at that one as well. But there was a kind of embarrassing memory that happened during that. After I had fun attaching myself to the Velcro wall at the after prom, apparently several people apparently told the comedian that was entertaining us that night at after prom that I was good at impersonations, and I think the comedian that time was named Will Ferrell, not the one that's been on Saturday Night Live, but rather this local
Willie Farrell. Yeah.
that local guy named Willie Farrell, and he was the one that did live comedy routines for the crowd at after prom 94, and so he calls me up and says, Jeff, I heard rumors that you impersonate certain things. Okay. Who do you want me to impersonate? And so he gave me a couple of names, and two of the ones I was pressured to do that I really didn't enjoy doing were Beavis and Butthead, who I have no choice but to say they are among the worst role models
They are. I agree.
on earth.
So, are you good at impersonations?
Oh yeah.
Tell me one that you're really good at.
Well, here's one from former President Ronald Reagan. May he rest in peace. And then
That's pretty good.
And then there's Bill Clinton, who was an ex-president. And there are some questions on his morality. But then again, a lot of people in Washington, D.C. has some questions on their moral and ethical behavior. Because when you're in Washington, D.C., it ends up being all too easy to go off the path. And basically, when you end up in Washington, it's all too common for someone who starts out being a politician who starts out being honest and makes promises to help the people, and then they end up going off the path and forgetting their promises. And
Yep.
But those are two examples.
Those are two really good impressions. Do you do anyone besides former presidents?
Oh yeah. Here's a very big favorite of mine. Hey! It's Pat Albert here.
That's a good one.
And I got a story to tell you along with the rest of my gang. It's always good to hang Aw, come on, Mushmouth. You know I am the greatest and biggest thing to ever happen. Yeah, Rudy, you're the biggest and greatest, all right. But too bad, in reality, you've got no class.
Jeff, I never knew you had this talent. I'm impressed.
Oh yeah. And I'm trying to think of the other favorite impersonations to do. Of course, there's some, people I'm around every day that's easy to impersonate. But as far as favorite the celebrities, most of the time it has to be those with a lower voice. I don't really do well with ones that really require a higher voice, or if I even try, I can't do it for very long. So, but I definitely do like to impersonate at things at certain moments.
You're good at it.
But then again, I also like doing parodies too.
Oh, do a parody for me.
Just writing parodies.
Tell us about the Purim play that you wrote.
Oh, a Purim play. Well, I mean, back in March, actually it was back in February. See, in combination with all the Michigan craziness that goes on in certain elements of the quote Orthodox end quote Jewish community, people, and then a lot in the community claim they act upright and moral, but then while they may be super strict in ritual things, they can end up often being super lax in moral things. Unfortunately, there are many times where quite a few in the Orthodox Jewish world have ended up, being dishonest in business affairs, cheating on taxes, molesting little children. It's just all sorts of problems. But then we also say all the time, whenever we add it to her, we end up taking away from it. But back to the play I wrote. February, in combination with some of the craziness that was going on in certain segments of the quote Orthodox end quote Jewish community, and all the mess we have in the political world in general, I got the idea that this year I would not only write a Purim play for anybody that wanted to read it, but I would actually incorporate politics into the play. But not for a specific political party, mind you, because I have issues with many people in both Republican and Democrat parties. There's many good reasons why I'm a staunch independent person. And I have to do the research, in terms of saying who to support and who to vote for. And the ones who make the least promises or who have a lesser budget, in my experience, tend to be the most honest and the most caring. But so in February I started writing this play, and so again it's a combination of taking everything going on in the world politically, and in a lot of what is advertised as observant Jewish communities, combine that and combine the craziness in the world, and I start writing during my free time, evenings, after work Monday through Thursday, and then a little time on Sundays, and maybe Saturday night after our weekly Sabbath ended. So it took me about 3.5 weeks to get it all together, and then of course I also used some parodies I saw or certain things I saw on TV and changed the plot and changed the line to reflect what I wanted in the play. But this is something that, and I ended up sending the play to about 15 people.
Oh, wow.
By email that requested it, because I sent out a post. I announced I was going to do this on my Facebook page a month before, and then I announced, if any of you would like to have a copy of this play, please let me know, and I will send it to you via your email accounts.
I would like you to send me a copy. Can you do that for me?
I am going to do that. I'm going to add it. Now, it would have been fun to do it as an actual play. Or it's basically supposed to be a Jewish version of Saturday Night Live, but obviously, it would require a very expensive budget to produce this for real, with having a lot of people for a live audience, having actors and actresses that have have the right comedy and humor. And dramatic expressions with knowledge about various things about Judaism, to know where we're coming from here, and then to hire musicians for the live band, and then sound technicians to run, to mix the audio, and a lighting technician to run the lighting, and camera people, to capture the action, for TV, and all the technical crews to get it on TV. It would require and then of course to people to help me write. I mean, I wrote a lot of my own, but if other people helped me write this, it would have been done even sooner. It could have been even more funnier and dramatic. I mean, I thought it was good, but I thought it would have been even funnier and even more dramatic if other people assisted me in writing it. So, but, so we did end up doing it as a TV production for real, so it remained being a 30-plus page script.
That's long.
So, and you'll get to see it when
I can't wait.
They're sent to your email box in several separate installments.
Okay, I look forward to it.
So, but it was definitely, so the thing is I was able to combine my expressing, both humor and hilarity with expressing my feelings on certain things.
Yeah, that's a good venue to do it. Well, Jeff, you seem to be a pretty funny guy. Do you like to crack jokes?
Well, yes, I'm not the best in comedy, but there are certain moments that come where I will, just to come up with humor on the spot, spontaneous humor.
Do you have any spontaneous humor?
Like, well, it depends, like a moment that happens. I'm trying to think of specific ones. Oh, I'll give you a couple examples, Sarah. One is someone asks me all the time, "What's up, Jeff?" Well, ceiling tiles, smoke detectors, lights, audible, the fire alarm audible devices and strobes, sprinklers, Wi-Fi routers, and internet equipment. That's what's up.
So you like to state the obvious.
Get it? What's up?
Yep.
Up in the ceiling.
You got the clouds, the sky.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's the outside version of this joke.
What else would you like to talk about today, Jeff?
Well, let me think. I'm just trying to think of another example of a hilarious joke I've cracked on the spot. I'm just trying to think of a good one that comes to my mind.
Let's see.
I'm trying to think of my memories of what spontaneous jokes that I've cracked on the.
I'm sure you've cracked some political jokes.
I've just forgotten about a lot of them.
Any political jokes you can think of?
Well, I know I told some, but I forgot about a lot of them. But I will tell you, there's a famous one going around, with Trump, but it talks about cheese, where we talk about make America great again, make them great cheese. And I've heard Trump impersonations on 2 radio stations that were really funny in their announcements. Like on one of our stations here, there were times I would listen to WHO when they were running a cash giveaway sweepstakes where they had Trump impersonators say, "Make your wallet great again."
So, impersonations. Can you do a Trump impersonation?
Well, this, I think, is my best Trump impersonation. He's not that easy to do, but this is my best shot.
Too bad the people out there can't hear it or can't see us right now, because then you could do his mannerisms, his fingers.
Well,
and
I'm not so good at the mannerisms. I'm really good at the voices.
Yes.
Not so good at the mannerisms.
That's okay. I think you've got the voices down pretty good.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sitting and chatting with me today.
Do you have any other funny, entertaining questions you want to ask?
Let me think. Is there anything funny that your dogs do that make you laugh?
Well, they have this routine. I will try to describe it in audio terms. Very often, when Lissy gets excited, she'll turn over on her back, and it'll look like she's doing a break dog routine. Ha 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 ha.
That's funny.
But then I'm told that she's just rubbing the top of her body onto a particular thing she's eating so that it would leave her scent. But I like to call it break dogging.
I like break dogging too. That's funny.
And then let's see if I can think of anything else. Oh, there are moments where both dogs, but especially Lissy, will stand up and pretend that they're human beings with their back legs stand up like they're trying to be a person as they try to mooch off but especially Lissy, the food that that I'm eating. But I mean, Scandy doesn't do that quite as much now. But still, but other than that, I don't know if I call it funny, but Lissy, our younger dog, definitely loves kissing people.
Oh, that's so
And
sweet.
kisses and gives me face baths on a regular basis with all of her licks. Though this is when she isn't stressed about something. When she's stressed out about something, she doesn't do it quite as much. When she's not so stressed, she'll love to give us kisses.
Oh, that's sweet.
So it's really, really cool.
Well, good. Anything else you can think of off the top of your head, or should we call it a day?
Well, maybe one more. Maybe you can talk about our years together at VHS, and and talk about our friendship and the closing moments of our chat.
Well, I don't think way back then, I don't think we talked that much. I remember talking with you a little bit in the hallway. I think more now that we've had lunch for a couple times over the last year. I think that has increased the time that we've spent together.
But of course, thing is, one of the good things about social media is with Facebook and all, it gives all of us the opportunity to reconnect with people. Because before Facebook, before I was invited to join Facebook, there were only about 10 people from our VHS days I was still in touch with, either by phone or by email.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
The thing is, until I discovered Facebook, I've lost touch with all but 10 people from our VHS days. But then I got invited by someone from my synagogue community in 2007 to join Facebook. And I joined, and I was discovering people from various parts of my life, from VHS, from people, from the Jewish community who live here that don't live here anymore, people I went to Camp Ramah with in the late 80s and half of the 1990s. I was a camper for 4 years, and an Israel program with the Ramah movement in 1993, the summer before my graduation from VHS, and then 3.5 years working at a camp in their business office. This is at Camp Ramah in northern Wisconsin. It's actually in a town near the northern border of Wisconsin, before you get to the upper Michigan Peninsula, called Conover. It's a very small, used to be unincorporated. It has a little bit more people now, but it's very far north in Wisconsin. The nearest bigger city to Conover is Eagle River, and then Rhinelander is about an hour south of Conover and Eagle River, and that's about the closest thing you get to a major town. I mean, not as big as Milwaukee, but still, as far as a relatively large city. But it is but it's thanks to Facebook I reconnected with so many people, and I've made a big effort to reconnect with every VHS person I saw in there. I was part, between, that was in VHS between fall of 1990 and spring of 1994. And you, Sarah, are one of the many, many people I've had the privilege of reconnecting with and rekindling our friendship with. Now, in some cases I've asked people to join my friend community, but there are people who've asked me to join, their friend community. So
It's pretty awesome, isn't it?
Oh yeah. And I'm just so grateful for our friendship, Sarah.
Me too, Jeff. Me too.
We've gotten closer over the last few years, and I'm so grateful, to have you as a very good friend now. And you're
Me
a very,
too.
very important part of my life. And God willing, our close friendship will continue for the rest of our lives.
Absolutely.
So
Well, on that note,
let's give each other a
all right.
video hug.